Today we're diving into the 60s, a time I wasn't alive but wish I was. My name is Lisa, you're watching One Lisa Show, and it's all about my pattern review of Simplicity 1609, which is a Jiffy vintage reprint. You can see the original pattern envelope design was here. It's a simple A-line shift dress, and it is a Jiffy pattern, which means it promotes minimal pieces, and in this case it promotes two minimal pieces. I just couldn't pass this up. I love the 1960s. I love the fashion, the music, the art, everything. The movies, you name it. So I buy a lot of vintage patterns, vintage pattern repeats especially, and I decided it was time to try this one out. I'm not a huge fan of a sleeveless dress, but it was also like 90 some degrees the past couple of weeks here in Indiana, and I was looking for a little relief. So I sent my mom a picture of this pattern envelope. And my mom was alive in the 60s. She was a child and probably early teen. And I sent her the picture and she sent me a text back and she goes, "Oh my God, your aunt and I made this pattern." And that was, she remembered it. And I said, "I bet you would recognize this dress." And she right away recognized it. So let me tell you, Simplicity's been reprinting a lot of their vintage popular patterns, and this is something that's a timeless classic. It does come, I'm going to show you on the actual instruction booklet because I think it's a better version of the line drawings. It has 3 variations, but it's the same dress. The variations are no embellishments, a bow on the top front of the neckline, and you see is a scalloped collar, similar to a Peter Pan collar. All views have bust darts, a center seam in the front, seam darts, and fisheye darts in the back, and a 22-inch zip in the back as well. For having only 2 main pattern pieces, your front and your back, the additional pattern pieces are your front neck facings and your arm facings. I'm going to tell you, for 2 main pattern pieces, all those darts, they make it very fitted. I thought this was really cool, and I'm going to post a picture of it. But inside the pattern instructions, there is an entire thing, and they put it in most of them. Fashion history of the 1960s. And I'm going to take a picture of this, and I'm going to read it to you. The baby boom created over 70 million teenagers for the 1960s, and it was these teenagers who influenced the changes in everything from politics to fashion trends. For the first time in history, young became the fashion leaders. Hemlines were getting higher and higher, and 1966 was officially the year of the mini skirt. In spite of a wide variety of quickly changing styles, from the influence of the Beatles to the signature androgynous silhouette of Twiggy, everyday clothes stayed quite simple. Not too much trim or embellishment. A-line or shift dresses in a range of lengths from high thigh to knee length were worn. Fabric choices ran between traditional fibers to newer man-made synthetics like vinyl and the new polyesters. Floral prints and abstract designs became popular, and Hawaiian motifs became popular for leisure wear. Boxy jackets with suit skirts inspired by Jackie O were very fashionable and continued as a major trend for many years. This pattern, I would not call it a beginner pattern. Number 1, it has a zip in it. Number 2, there's lots of darts. Number 3, you're dealing with facings and understitching. And that, I would say alone, I would say a confident beginner or higher. And when I say a confident beginner, somebody that has had a little experience with a dart. Because there's also, you know what, and I don't think it was noticed, but there's also shoulder back dart as well. So let's talk about the fabrics. This is there's quite a range of fabrics you can use, basically any woven. Simplicity says cotton blends, poplin, seersucker, sateen, challis, crepe, laundered silks, rayons, silk linen, brocades, satins, linen blends, shantung. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I made you see View C is the one with no embellishments right here. I made a size 18. This pattern goes from size 6 to 22. That translates to a bust of 30.5 inches to 44 inches and a waist of 23 inches to 37 inches. The measurements stay the same. I'm pretty much an 18 in Simplicity Patterns, and so I went with the 18. That is a waist of 32 and a hip of 42. And let's be honest, I know my hip is more like 34 and I know my waist is more like 44, but every time I've made a 20, it's been too big. So I traced out an 18. And guess what? It's too tight. It's too tight. I can wiggle into it and I will insert some pictures. I was drawn to this pattern. I love the 60s. I love the history of the 60s. I was not alive. I wish I was. But this is the style. This is such the style of the 60s. And we've had such a hot summer that I was like, it's time to start looking at something new pattern-wise. And even though it's sleeveless and I'm not always that comfortable with sleeveless, I was ready for it. I'm going to insert pictures or videos of me wearing this. Squeeze into it like a sausage. But I will tell you, this is my dress. And I don't have it on at this moment because number one, I need to breathe. Number two, I want to be able to show you the things about it so I can give you an honest opinion of my review. And you can see this is a busy floral print. It is from Joann's, one of the premium quilting cottons, so it is a woven. It was in my stash for a long, long time. It has a center front seam that you really can't notice with this print. My darts are all in place. There's facings. My zip, I did not use an invisible zip. I did not use the hook and eye that's suggested. And I inserted it the way I feel comfortable inserting a zipper. And I say everybody should do what makes them feel good. And this is how it looks for me, and I like how it turned out. But this summer, I had made the decision to start focusing more on how I actually sew and to take time. And because this was what everybody calls a vintage pattern, even though it was the 1960s, and as a child of the 70s, I wouldn't call myself vintage, I decided to do what my mom probably would have done when she made this pattern and when my aunt made this pattern back in the 60s and the early 70s. I used pinking shears. So my seams on the inside have been finished using pinking shears. Because it's a woven cotton, I know that after it's been washed a few times, it's going to have this gorgeous edging to every seam because of the pinking shears. And I quite fancy how that looks. That's just me. The other detail is I did not use a serger, I don't think at all. So when it was time to finish my facings, I actually folded them over and basically hemmed them all. And these facings didn't match up perfectly, and that's okay. This is a very stiff quilting cotton, so it does look amazing. And I'm genuinely pleased, so much so that I will be making more of this dress, even though I don't have a huge comfort level in a sleeveless dress. If I open it up and show you from the inside out. So from the inside out, this is the front of the dress. And as you can see, it's a unique detail. It's very similar to how Sew Over It has some of their patterns as well, where the facing goes through the whole front, it connects, and then you attach it. And this is wonderful because it allows for the facing to lay flat. You don't have to worry about pieces really flopping up. Now you can see I have this inside out and it might not lay as perfectly right now, but it is understitched, not completely through because I couldn't seem to get that to work on my machine to get it wiggle through, but the majority parts, and then I did tack it down at the bottom of every armhole. I probably could also tack this down in the center seam if I stitch in the ditch as well, and that would be another secure point for it. But I love how that looks inside. I guess I could have fully lined it also, but I didn't. I don't think there's a need for it. Where it hits on me is the perfect length. There is nothing about this dress I dislike, even though it is sleeveless. I don't think this dress would look as good with sleeves, short or long. One of the things I'm really proud of myself is the hem. So this isn't in the pattern, but what I did was use the blind hem stitch function on my sewing machine. And I'm going to show you my hem, finished hem, and it's pretty invisible. If I switch it over on the wrong side, you can kind of see the stitching. And I was learning it, so there was a point where I had to rip a lot of this out because it just didn't look right, but it is very nice. I started to get the hang of it and I'm very pleased with it. Lots of darts, but ingenious in how it molds to your body. So I do absolutely love this piece. I love everything about it. I think it's something that is pretty timeless. You can buy a shift dress anywhere, to any department store, online, and you're going to see shift dresses today still being sold. And sold a lot because it's classic business wear, it's classic party wear, it's something that is very versatile in the closet. I can wear a jacket over it or a sweater over it. I could wear tights in the winter and a turtleneck underneath it if I wanted to. It's just classic, and how it comes out, it's very flattering to many figures. I am so pleased I finally tried this pattern. Did it take long? It didn't take long. Was it something I could do in a day? Myself personally, no. No. It's very easy to cut out. The seam dart in the front is very interesting because it gets very close to your side seams. That was the weirdest part of the entire process. I really, really love how it fits. I love how it looks. I wish it would fit me better so I could breathe. That part of that, I should have made the larger size. If I make another one this summer, it probably will be one size up, and then I will rest easy because I know I will be able to breathe. I think if you're looking for an interesting sew, this is definitely should be on the list because it can be a little challenging with all those darts. But if you're used to doing a dart on an item and it doesn't phase you, this is just more darts in different spots. And I took my time with all my pressing. So I highly suggest taking your time with it and enjoying the actual sew, enjoying all the pressing, not being tedious, but being cautious with every move you make. And I took the time to take out stitches I didn't like how it looked, and it worked. And I really am super pleased, so much so that I wanted to make a whole video devoted to this. I also decided I have a lot of Simplicity vintage patterns, Butterick vintage patterns, and I think maybe it's time to start diving into those and seeing what comes up it, because a lot of these things come back into fashion. And I'm kind of the opinion, and maybe it's my age, maybe it's kind of the person I've always been, wear what makes you feel good and happy. And I love the 60s, so this makes me happy. And I can wear this to work and nobody's going to bat an eye. So I highly suggest pick this up. I'm going to put links below to both the Simplicity and Amazon. Mind you, Amazon, they are affiliate links. So if you do make a purchase, It doesn't change your costs, but it will compensate me slightly for that link. Penny is crying because she threw a toy behind the bed in this room. So I want to thank you for watching this episode. Let me know in the comments if you've made this dress, if you remember this dress, if you were alive during that time. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you.